Hi, I'm PJ Antonic, and I'm here with Josh Mullins, and
Hello.
this is the Winning Tradition Soccer Edition.
Yeah. How you doing today, PJ?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
It's good. That's good. So basically, how this is gonna work is we are going to recap this week's Champions League fixtures between all six teams, and I said 16 teams. And so we'll just go step by step for each team and basically see kind of going into depth how what went wrong, what went right, and then going on in the future for the club. So we'll just look up the 16 teams here. So obviously we can start with the biggest one of all, my opinion. Manchester United versus
Yep,
PSG.
that was the storyline of the week.
That was huge. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? Like,
I mean, PSG made crucial mistakes, gave gave the ball away to
a lot,
Lukaku,
a lot.
caused a really easy goal for Lukaku.
Oh, absolutely. They're fullbacks. Like I saw when I was watching it, like the tactic that Tuchel was trying to put on the field was kind of basically move the ball from the outside to the inside, like a lot of Hispanic, you know what I'm saying, like that,
Yeah.
like Christmas tree shape style where it's like back and forth, like ping pong style, and that obviously just did not work. Like the fullbacks were getting roasted by Manchester United's wing players, like Rashford was getting in, Lukaku was getting in, and they were just making a lot of mistakes when it came to giving the ball away, especially in the midfield. Um, like normally, Verratti is probably at when it comes to like tactics and strategy, is probably one of the best players to fit. Just because he's like a maestro, he'll pick out a pass, he'll find somewhere, he'll play the ball deep. He's just like a pit bull, running up and down on the pitch. And the thing is the fact that Verratti was basically kind of nowhere to be found in the whole first
Yes.
half. Like he struggled so hard to get the ball moving. Like a lot of the PSG players were just like trying to hurry up when it came to build up. Like
Stuck
they
in the
didn't.
middle.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't like taking their time. They weren't like trying to pick out the right pass. They were just kind of forcing things. And I think that's why they gave up the ball a lot to Manchester United in that game.
Yep.
And that's obviously two of the goals that Lukaku scored were given off of, especially the second one. I mean, that was ridiculous. I don't know, because Danny Alves played more in like a wing role.
He
That
played.
was
He played more of the wing role.
yeah,
Yes.
that was what? Because Kimpembe is a
Kimpembe.
center back.
Yeah.
Was it Kerr? Is that his name? Kerr?
Kair, yeah.
Yeah. He was the one that gave up the ball. He tried to like get it back to the other, to the left back, and Lukaku was obviously just tracking that down. He's like playing of a man, like he was like a manhunt position. Like he wanted the ball, and it was just so poor from the fullbacks. I mean, a lot of people think, okay, fullbacks, that's not really a bad position because if you mess up, they're only going out to the wing. Fullbacks, if you mess up in the position, it can cost your team, I think, more of a goal than if a center back were to mess up. I mean, in my opinion, it's the whole defense has to be aligned. They have to be a solid unit. And if one, even if it's one person out of the back four, back five, whatever you decide to play, if he doesn't do what was told by the manager and he is not on the right track with everyone else and like on the same page, that right there, that's going to cost you goals every single day. And
Yep.
Manchester United did
Correct.
exactly what they were supposed to do. So
Yeah, some crazy stats from that game. Um, Manchester United was the first team to go through after losing the first leg 2-0 at home. PSG controlled 72% of possession, outshot them 12-5, and I mean, completely dominated handling the ball, but like Josh said, they couldn't find the quality attacks, and at the end, it just proved costly to them.
absolutely. I mean, it is so crazy to think about. And I know we were talking about this a month ago. Manchester United was in shambles. Like They were the
done.
livestock of the Premier League.
They were getting made fun of.
I mean, Mourinho was tearing them apart. Players were wanting to leave the club. Paul Pogba was linked in January. Paul Pogba was linked to every team out there, and they turn around and they make PSG look like PSG's not one of the best teams in the world. I mean, they have the best teenager in the world in Kylian Mbappe, and then they also have what people could say the third or fourth best player in the world right now in Neymar. And it's like
Yes.
they got outdone by a team.
So many injuries
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's
everywhere across the
ridiculous.
board. Starters like Modic.
Yeah, Modic, Herrera was out. I mean, Paul Pogba didn't play
Martial.
because he had a red card.
Martial.
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez, but he doesn't do anything anyways.
Exactly. Let's not talk about that guy because.
Us Arsenal supporters over
There
here.
you go, Arsenal today we die. And also too Jesse Lingard, he didn't play either.
He didn't play, no.
And it's like these young kids like Chung, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Chung.
Yeah,
and
Chung.
Greenwood, like 18, 17-year-olds.
That's what I'm saying. Come
Playing in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain, who, over the past couple years, has spent over $1 billion on transfers. Yet this is the third straight season where they can't get past the round of 16.
It's ridiculous how a team like Paris Saint-Germain, who should be making quarterfinals, semifinals every single year, they can't get past the round of 16, and it's like, then it starts to make you think. It's like, is the market? Obviously, we both know that it's like it's inflammation. I mean, people are paying 200, 300 million for teenagers that can't even drink yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, and it's just it makes you think. It's like, is money if being a big club and spending 200, 300 million dollars, is that really going to get you anywhere?
No.
Like, what
It's chemistry.
exactly? I think that's
No
why
chemistry.
Manchester United won,
Yes.
is because
Their manager is great.
their manager
Solskjaer.
he came into a club that is literally, were predicted to not even be in a Europa League spot. They were predicted to have to rebuild and everything. And he came in there and he did more than what he was expected to do. And he basically brought a team that went from, like, in the locker room fighting and pointing the finger at one another to blame, to turning around and making this team a quarterfinals, possibly a semifinal Champions League team,
Yeah.
depending on who they get, obviously in the quarterfinals. But yeah, I mean, Manchester United,
They get healthy, they can get really dangerous.
they really can. And also too, not only Champions League, they are really, really performing
Well, in the Premier
In
League.
the Premier League, I mean,
They're up to 4th, I think.
oh, fifth, yeah,
Fifth.
yeah, fifth, because Arsenal right now is
Arsenal's
in
right now
fourth,
in fourth.
and Arsenal actually plays Manchester United
Big game tomorrow.
on Sunday. Yeah, I'm not ready for
It's-
that. It's gonna be rough.
We'll talk about Arsenal
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, we'll talk about Arsenal later, and we'll have a rant about them. So, but yeah, anything else you want to say about PSG and Manchester United?
Of course, there's some VAR controversy surrounding
Yeah.
the game, which ultimately, obviously, decided the tie to make them go over,
Yeah.
to tie them up in aggregate in a way.
What do you
win and away
think?
goals.
What do you think? Do you think it was a handball, or do you think? Because I mean, was it outside the box, inside the box? Was it even a handball in general?
It was inside the box,
Yeah.
and UEFA came out with a statement and released it saying that the defender's arm was nowhere close to his body, therefore taking up more space of a possible shot on goal. So there's an explanation about that, but it's still very controversial, and I think PSG fans should be really disappointed with the call, but at the same time, it's a penalty. It went under review. So yeah.
Yeah, and um, Neymar has now become a really big meme on Twitter. There, the whole like look and whatever and all that. Like that's pretty crazy how his reaction became a meme there. That's pretty funny.
It was crazy.
Absolutely.
I mean, if Neymar was not injured, I think PSG would have taken care of them.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Neymar brings a good captain role, to the team. Even though he has probably a bigger ego than Zlatan, I think he still brings a leadership to the football club that wins games like that. And I think by him being out and obviously Kylian Mbappe being don't get me wrong, for how young he is and how amazing he is as a player, he's not at that age to where he can take a leadership role. And I think that's where Neymar is at right now. And I think they really missed that out there. So that's enough of Manchester United and PSG. Let's move on to Ajax and Real Madrid.
What a dramatic storyline that was, too.
Absolutely. Going from back-to-back champions.
3 times in a
row. 3
row.
times, that's right. Yeah, back-to-back-to-back.
3 times
Never
in a row.
done before in Champions League history. To losing to a team full of teenagers.
Team full of really great young teenagers. Yes, Ajax of Amsterdam is a really good team.
Absolutely.
Great young players. Dusan Tadic. Hakim Ziyech.
Oh my gosh, he's so good. And then like Kasper Dolberg and Mattia de Ligt and all that.
Yep.
They're a team that really, really, really it really makes me sad what's gonna happen to Ajax next year, because I feel like
they're all gonna go.
I feel like it's gonna be the situation that Monaco had. Remember how they had like all the young French stars, like even Mbappe himself.
Yep.
And then the next year, they were all taken by other big clubs, and I feel like that's what's going to happen to Ajax after this year. I think that they're all just going to be taken away.
Yes. Frankie de Jong. I mean, they're all a veteran on that team is Daley Blind.
That's crazy.
He's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But their goalie, Andre Onana, the Nigerian.
Yeah.
He's been linked to the bigger clubs like in England. But yeah, there are some problems in Real Madrid.
There's some major problems in Real Madrid. I mean,
Bale is one of them.
I think that this shows as a explanation how much of a problem the club has been in over the summer, because a lot of people, they were in the World Cup when Lopetegui was the Spain manager and then came in as Real Madrid. A lot of people like, oh, that's going to affect Spain's, as a football association. I think it affected Real Madrid more as a club, because that changed the whole culture around the club. And Lopetegui obviously plays a lot more different football style than Zidane does.
Yes.
And the thing is like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, And I think that's Lopetegui tried to take what Zidane built in Real Madrid and completely change it to how he wanted it. And that's why I feel like Ronaldo left, and I feel like that's why they're going downhill.
Yeah.
Because now, even though Lopetegui is no longer there as a manager, and they keep having these other managers come in, it's like Real Madrid is trying to force something on what they had going, and it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, And I get Zidane left. I mean, that's for personal reasons, but I feel like the next manager that came through, which was Lopetegui at the time, he should have took Zidane style and ran with it because it's not. It wasn't broke. I mean, they won Champions League back to back to back. Like, why would you want to come in there and assert a whole new culture into a team that was already at the peak of each one of their careers?
Real Madrid, probably the most dominant European club of this decade, maybe even century.
Absolutely.
4 in 5 years, 3 in a row. But again, Cristiano Ronaldo left, and I think that's what brought the team down. It's one player. It's only one player, but I feel like he's the best, and it made that much of a difference.
Yeah, because he was Mr. Champions League.
Yes.
I mean, even though he didn't perform well in the league, because obviously I think that's due to like age, and obviously the more older you get, the less games you can play, you know. And I think that if Ronaldo stays in Real Madrid, if he stayed this season,
Yeah.
I think that they obviously wouldn't win the Champions League. I still think they would have lost eventually because obviously, even with Ronaldo there, if a culture change is a culture change, it's going to affect you at some time. I don't think they would have been knocked out this early. I think that they probably would have been knocked out quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So, anything else you have to say about Real Madrid?
Total rebuild.
Absolutely, total rebuild.
Marcelo's gone.
Yeah, I just told you that before this podcast
Yeah.
that Marcelo just signed a contract with Juve, is a 4-year contract, and so he's gonna be joined by his old friend Ronaldo, and being with that, we'll move on to the next one. We'll talk about Juve and Atletico Madrid, even though they play on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. In their second leg. I'm sure we could still talk about their first leg. But with Marcelo signing to Juve, what does that mean with Alexandro? Is he going to go to Manchester United? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go anywhere else? Like, why did you think Juve signed Marcelo? Because don't get me wrong, as much as Marcelo is a wonderful player, I mean, he's got experience, he's a Champions League winner, and obviously, you know, Ronaldo's there, and it makes sense, but he's going on 33 years old now, and no one's like, you know, not everybody's like Ronaldo. Not everybody can play for that long.
Yeah.
Why do you think Juve made that decision to sign?
I really don't know. Maybe they're thinking Alexandro is probably gonna leave.
That's what I think. I think that with Alexandro being younger and, you know, obviously a lot more athletic than Marcelo is now, I think that they know they can't hold on to him forever, and he's going to want to experience new clubs.
Yep.
Possibly go to, you know, a club that is winning every single year, like a Manchester City, and who need a left back. I mean, I don't think Man City has a left back, and I think that would be a good team for him to go to because Man City is favorites to win the Prem every year. They go far in the Champions League, so
Yep.
I think I think that's a smart move by Juve bringing in someone like Marcelo because even though he's old, he still has it, in my opinion.
Great player.
He can still
Always a major part of the Real Madrid dominance.
Yeah.
Along with Sergio Ramos, who did not play the
game
round of
against
16
Ajax,
against Ajax. But he's also a major part of the team they have in Real Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. So, before we talk about the next one, Juve and Atletico, they play on Tuesday. Obviously, Atletico has 2 goals. Who do you think's going to win that? Who you got going for that?
I could say Juventus might pull it off,
Yeah, you.
but I don't know. Atletico Madrid always brings a great defensive
Yeah.
fort down
Yeah.
when they're up
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
the Champions League.
Yeah. I think Juve can do it.
They're home.
They're at home. They're in front of their fans, and they have, in my opinion, I think they have a better lineup than Atletico Madrid.
Yep.
I know Atletico Madrid has Diego Simeone, and I know that he is capable of winning games. But I think Juve, I predicted them before the round of 16 started for them to win it all this year.
So did I.
So I still think they have it.
They still have it.
I think they still have what it takes to win it now, especially that Real Madrid is out. So yeah, I still see Juve beating Atletico.
Yeah, I still see it too.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be very interesting. I think it could go either way, but what a storyline that would be if Juventus is out in the round of 16. I don't think anyone saw that at the beginning of this Champions League season.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to the next team, do you want to do Tottenham and Dortmund?
Yeah, we could talk about Tottenham and Dortmund.
Sounds good.
What good for Tottenham.
Yeah.
They deserve it. They
Yeah.
played really well.
They did.
Great coach.
Yeah. Pochettino, even though I'm an
I'm
Arsenal fan,
yes.
and obviously I hate Spurs,
Yeah.
you have to give respect when respect is due. Like, Pochettino is probably the best coach besides Pep Guardiola
Yeah.
in the Premier League. He's up there. And for Tottenham to beat a team like Dortmund, who...
It's a strong team.
Strong team. I mean, they were leading the Bundesliga.
Yeah, they blew it.
And they did.
Now-
And I think it's just because the reason why they lost this league is because of that. Like, they had a dip of form
Yep.
with Marco Reus obviously being injured a little bit again. And I think that is why they lost this game, because I think they relied too heavy on some players that aren't just ready for that kind of game. Like, don't get me wrong, they have talents, and obviously the American Pulisic, and then they also have talents in Sancho and other players as well. But I think a team like Tottenham, who has now become a well-established club and a very big club, I see Tottenham being a Final Four. I see Tottenham going Final Four.
They could make a run here.
They really could, because they are a really, really special club. They really are.
Yeah, I think they just need to get a favorable tie, I think.
Yeah.
They get, like, Porto, who also advanced.
Yeah.
They could easily make it to the semifinals.
They really could. And and both of us know that, and everyone else. Champions League is all about who you draw.
Yes.
When it comes to these later rounds, like, obviously now that it's getting smaller and smaller, a lot of these big teams are gonna play one another, but now that there's like a lot of, I mean, you have to think about it like this, like, if you're looking at it from a Barca or a Bayern or a City that is going, say they all go through to the next round, if you were a big team and you see these, Ajax, Porto, and Tottenham, and all them, like, what is your opinion? Like, do you want to draw them, or would you want to draw each other based off of bad form? Because Bayern now is just getting back to the Bayern, the Bayern that everyone knows. Yeah. And, like, these big teams are obviously struggling. That's why they're losing to these smaller teams. So, if you were a manager at, say, Barcelona, right, would you want to play Bayern and them in the next round, or would you want to take a chance against, like, these Ajaxes and these Portos that are just bringing down these giants of football? Like, what would you want to do?
I'd rather play an Ajax or a Porto still, instead of Bayern Munich. But I still think Barcelona would be capable of beating Bayern Munich. I think they're really strong this year. But again, you never know. This Champions League, I think, is going to be a crazy one, and I think there's going to be an underdog who wins.
I really do. I think these smaller teams like Ajax and Porto, I really think one of them is going to win it. I think it's going to be a big team versus a small team in the final, and I really feel like the underdogs got this one this year. I really do. This has been the most exciting Champions League to watch in the past 5 years.
Yes, it's been really exciting. We got some really strong teams, and even the smaller clubs, they have stronger teams than I've seen. Former smaller clubs.
Absolutely.
Past years.
Absolutely.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Tottenham
And Dortmund?
and Dortmund.
I guess obviously being that we're from America, Pulisic. He's not going to be there anymore after this year, huh?
Hopefully he'll do well in the Premier League.
I think.
Chelsea.
Do you think that he is a physical player to last in the Premier League? Because the Premier League is the most physical league.
It's a physical league.
Very physical. I mean, each and every week people are getting injured left, right, and center just because based off of the physicality and the strength that players have in that league. Pulisic is a pretty skinny guy, and he's more about like finesse and dribbling and all that. Like, what do you think? Do you think he can last in the Premier League, or do you think it's just too soon?
I really don't know. I think he could last in the Premier League, but it might take him some time to adjust. It's different from the Bundesliga, where he spent almost his whole career at Dortmund. But if he stays fit and maybe gains a few, I think he could be one of the star players for Chelsea.
I think so too. I mean, nowadays with media and reporters and stuff like that, and it's like there's almost an immediate expectation when it comes to young players like Pulisic, like Mbappe. When they leave their club, it's like they automatically expect them to just, for Pulisic position, score 10 goals and have 10 assists. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the first season, and it's like it just really forget about the whole, okay, well, let's get to the new culture, the new way of how football is, being that the Premier League's very physical. Yeah, it's kind of like all that goes out the window, and it's like, he's here, I expect all of this success from him.
Yeah.
And it's like when players don't deliver, it's like, get him out of the club. Get him out.
Yes.
We don't want him here. It's a waste of money.
Media's crazy there in England.
It really is, because it's like they expect so much from players that literally have played. Like, he joined Dortmund at 16. He's played for Dortmund for the past 3-4 years now.
Yes.
He doesn't know anything else besides German football and Champions League football.
Yep.
He doesn't know the Premier League. He hasn't been on a team in the Premier League. So for them, if Chelsea's supporters and fans expect him to go off the gate and have him, get double digits in both assists and goals, I think that's just too much to expect out of him. And if he does, then great. That just shows the type of caliber player he is. But if he doesn't, then I don't see anything wrong with that, because he's just getting used to the Premier League. So.
Yep, you're totally right.
Absolutely. So, moving on to the next team here.
The next tie.
Let's see. We have. We did talk about Roma and Porto a little bit. Do you want to go in depth on them a little more?
Don't really know that much about Porto.
Yeah, I mean,
Portuguese team.
Portuguese football. It's obviously not in the power league. Yeah,
not a top 5 league in Europe.
Yeah,
they're outside of that.
Yeah, they're getting there though. I think they're a 6-7. You know, a lot of young players come from Porto and they join the Italian league a lot. Like, I see a lot of that, And it's like this right there, this win kind of staples the fact that they're there for a reason. You know, they make Champions League every single year for a reason, and they're a top club in Portugal. They're a good team, and yeah, I think Porto, although they did win in the round of 16, I do think that their time has come.
Yep.
At the quarterfinals, I think
They'll
that
lose to one of these bigger clubs.
yeah,
advancing.
I think that's when like
It's over.
City, Bayern, Barca,
Barca.
Liverpool, you know, all these big clubs. I think that's when they'll take them out.
Yep.
But even going to the quarterfinals this far, that should be a success for them as a club. I think that's really huge for them. So, and Roma.
Roma, they should be disappointed once
Really?
again.
They should.
They got screwed over apparently. It was a tough. I saw the penalty. It's a tough one. Pulled back the attacker right on the cross,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
and Alex Telles converted the penalty in the 117th minute, and that's the game over.
Yeah. I mean, Roma last year beat Barcelona and made it all the way to the semifinal.
Yep.
And now knocked out of the round of 16 by a team that is nowhere near the caliber of Barcelona.
It's a tough one. Tough one for Roma. I think they should be very disappointed. They won 2-1 at home, and then they lost 3-1 here in Portugal.
Yeah, that's embarrassing in my opinion. I think that they should easily be a quarterfinal team
Yeah.
every single year, because they're a big team in Italy. I mean, obviously they're no Juve, but they're obviously second and third every single year behind Napoli or ahead of Napoli or whatever, you know. And it's like to lose to Porto, like all in fairness to FC Porto for their for their
great
success.
effort. Yeah.
Roma should be winning these games. They should. You know, they should really be winning these type of games.
Yeah, and they're in trouble in their in League 2. They're 5th place, 3 points behind Inter Milan.
Wow.
They're in trouble. They've been losing games ever since the New Year's, so there's some concern to go in Roma. They might not even make the Champions League next season.
That's crazy to think about that, you know? It's like they went from semi-final team to, you know, having a really bright future to now they're Europa League, you know, and out around 16. What is going on with Rome? You know, I think they need to really, really take a step back in the coaching staff and the board of directors and everything that Rome has, and really, okay, take a second, like how can we get back to that point of just 365 days ago, you know? How can we get back to beating a team like Lionel Messi and Barcelona, you know? So, yeah, Roma,
Problems there.
problems there. They need to fix that.
All right, what's the next fixture?
Next fixture, Liverpool v Bayern.
That is the storyline there.
That's a good one.
It's a great
0-0.
one. 0-0 going
0-0.
into Munich.
Yeah.
Do you know who's gonna win, Josh?
That's like hands in the air.
I really don't know either.
It's a 50-50. And I feel like it just depends on the big players. I think that if all the big Bayern players, James, Lewandowski, you know, all those players step up, do what they need to do, have a good effort on the day, I think they win.
Yeah, it's Bayern Munich. I think Liverpool's overrated.
Overrated Liverpool, huh?
I really think they are.
Yeah.
Even in the Champions League last season, I thought they were overrated.
Yeah, they did. They had a pretty easy they had a pretty easy path to the final.
They got Roma in the semifinals.
Yeah. No, Roma had Barcelona in the semifinals.
No. Real Madrid and Liverpool were the finalists.
Yeah.
semifinals, it was Roma because they advanced from Barcelona,
Oh yeah.
in the
oh
quarterfinals.
My gosh. Yeah. See.
And then
Yeah.
Liverpool obviously got a weaker team than Barcelona,
Right.
but I think Liverpool always gets it a little easier.
They do. They really do.
I really think they're overrated.
Yeah.
They're not. They're overrated. So is Mohamed Salah. As good as the season he had last year, this season a little overrated.
Yeah, he hasn't produced the same kind of stats this year. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's putting up stats, but it's none like the ones that he had last year. And he went from I mean, people were comparing him to Messi. Like, people were saying this guy is the real deal. And then he goes into the World Cup
He's injured. He was injured from Sergio Ramos.
But he came in 2 games, and he didn't do anything.
Nothing.
He didn't. I don't even think he did. He score in the World Cup?
He scored 1 goal. I remember 1 goal, and that was when they were down 4-0, and they got a penalty.
That's right.
Against Russia.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's what I'm saying. You know, don't get me wrong. He's an excellent player. I mean, he's a top player, but he's no Messi.
Yeah.
He's no Ronaldo. He's not the best in the world. He's just a really, really good player, and I think that being compared to those players,
it's not there yet.
He's just not there. I don't think he ever will be because
you're right.
He's already almost 30 now.
Yes.
You know, he's not gonna get any better.
It's not a fair comparison.
Absolutely not. I don't think so.
He's a top player, but Messi and Ronaldo and Mbappe is going to be. I think Mbappe is going to be, by the time he gets older, 10 years from now,
right,
he'll be just on the same level as Messi and Ronaldo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else on Liverpool and Bayern?
I think Bayern Munich's going to pull it off.
Yeah, I do too.
They'll pull it off at home.
Absolutely.
For the crowd.
Absolutely. All right, so we've made 14 teams. We got the last 2.
Last 2, Barcelona against the French side of Lyon. They're playing in Barcelona at Camp Nou. And I'm sorry, Lyon, but you got no chance.
I really, really, really think that Lyon will put up a fight, but it's just not going to be enough.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to be enough.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. In Barcelona against the man himself.
Yes.
I get it. You have Nabil Fekir, you have Maxwell Cornet, you have Memphis Depay. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Memphis Depay is not a good team player either.
No, absolutely.
No. But Nabil Fekir is a really good player, and so is Maxwell Cornet.
Yeah,
I think they're really good.
Yeah, he's one for the future, in my opinion. I can see Maxwell Cornet.
Probably Cornet.
Yeah.
I don't know how to speak French.
Yeah. However you want to say the last name, I see him being on a PSG, a Bayern, a Juve in the next 2-3 years. He's 22 now, I believe. So he's still a young player. He's still one for the future, and I think he'll be a top player soon.
Yes. But yep. You had some good chances in the first leg, Lyon, but 0-0 is not going to do it.
No.
Going into Barcelona.
They're
too powerful.
Yeah, they had to get a goal. They had to.
Suarez will eventually start picking up his form again.
Absolutely.
Although he hasn't scored that much at all. But it looks like we'll have some good quarterfinal matchups.
Yeah. So that's all 16 teams in the Champions League. Any other team you want to talk about not in the Champions League?
We could talk about Arsenal,
Arsenal FC.
the London team, North London.
North London.
There, it was a bad game on Thursday. They played Saint Rennes, a very middle of the table team in France. They played them away, but they lost 3-1. Arsenal has a lot better players, and they should be way better than the result they saw.
Absolutely. There's no excuse for that result. The problem is with Arsenal is the fact that we lack defense. We struggle. Mustafi is probably the worst defender
Yeah,
ever bought by Arsenal.
He's not good.
We spent 20 million pounds, almost 30 million pounds for him. And he came in here and has done nada. He's mistake prone. He literally makes mistakes every single day
yep,
when coming into the club. Every single game.
No
he
good.
makes mistakes. And Socrates, I really, 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 really wish that he was 5 years younger. If he was like 27, 28, oh my gosh, he would have been probably one of the best signings Arsenal has made in the past decade. He has came into this club at the age of 31 and has been the captain of this team. Koscielny is gone. He is done, dusted, goodbye.
Shelly is gone.
Socrates has came in here and has shown exactly what it's like to wear the Arsenal crest.
Great player.
He's an amazing player. And if Arsenal can sort out their defense and actually focus on what's important
Yes.
instead of buying midfielders and forwards, because we don't need those anymore, focus on the defense. This summer, I expect a whole new back four. I want an all new back four. Left back, center back, right back. All brand new.
Yep. And no more Aaron Ramsey.
Going to Juve.
Going to Juve.
Going to Juve. What can I say? I mean, he's a great player. He deserves the signing. He deserves to be in a Champions League team. And I wish him all the best and all the success in Juve, but...
Yeah, really one of my favorite players of Arsenal
Yeah.
the past couple years.
Yeah,
Sad to see him leave.
it really is. It is sad to see him leave. Like I said, he deserves it. I mean, when you play well, I mean, he's been consistent the past 2-3 years after his injury.
Yeah.
He's came back better. He's came back stronger. He's came back faster.
Deserved it.
Yeah, he's deserved that big move, and I wish him all the best. I hope that he wins the Champions League. I really do. I think he will too in Juve. I think he will. So, any other team you want to talk about besides Arsenal?
Do you have any other team?
Um.
Oh, we forgot to talk about Manchester City and
Oh,
Schalke
Schalke, yeah.
in the Champions League.
Yeah, we did, huh?
Manchester's 3-2 advantage. They already played in Germany. There's no chance for Schalke.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No.
Absolutely not.
3-2. They were winning 2-1.
They were, yeah.
2-1, well into the 70th minutes. But who scored the goals? Hold on.
I think it was for
Sadio. No. He plays for Leroy Sané. That's who it was.
Yeah.
I get them mixed up sometimes.
I think it for City, obviously, I think Aguero put one in, Leroy, and then
Leroy Sané put on the 85th minute to tie it, and then Sterling won it in the 90th minute.
yeah, and then Bentalab, 2 penalties for Schalke.
Yep. Bentaleb. Nicholas Otamendi got a red card in the 68th minute. They're down a man, and they still scored 2 goals to see off Schalke.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
That's crazy to think about the fact that you go down 10 men, down by
Down by 1.
down by 1, and overcome that,
Yeah.
and not only tie it away from home, you win.
They're a great team.
City is probably one of the best attacking teams I've ever seen.
Yes,
in,
agreed.
in my years of football. I think City and Pep Guardiola, he is the new Zidane.
Yeah.
He will bring City a Champions League in these next 5 years. I see it. It will happen.
Their first Champions League ever.
I think it'll be their first Champions League ever, and I think it'll be the first Premier League Champions League since the
Man
last
U.
one in 2008. Yeah.
Man U.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been dominated by Spain and I think Inter Milan or AC Milan and
AC Milan, yeah.
Bayern Munich won. But it's been Spain, Real Madrid, and Barcelona.
Back to back. But I think Man City's got that. I think Man City's going to win the next 3-4 years. I really do. I see it. And, yeah. I mean, Man City, one of the best. And I think they'll go through.
I think they'll go through too. Probably one of the easiest picks of this tie.
I think so, yeah.
Easily.
I think it's one of the easiest. That and
Barcelona, yeah.
Two pretty easy ones. So, how are we doing for time? What's time looking like? Here, if we got some time, I think we talk about maybe some transfers. Yeah, we got say about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
We have time. Transfers. Who do you think is moving? What big player do you think is moving this summer?
I really don't know. Do you know?
I think, in my opinion, I think Neymar leaves.
You're right.
I think
Real Madrid.
I think Neymar is going to Real Madrid,
There's ties to Real Madrid.
or he heads back to Barcelona. That's what I think.
I don't know if he'll head back to Barcelona. I don't think he wants to play with Messi and Suarez anymore.
You don't think so?
He left.
Here, I'll pull up some transfer news, and then I'll get your opinion on who you think is going to move. So we have Frankie de Jong,
Frankie de Jong of Ajax
confirmed transfer
to Barcelona.
to Barcelona. 75 million euros. How crazy is that?
Yes, that's crazy.
That's crazy to think about. And then we have the second one is Christian Pulisic heading to Chelsea.
Yep.
64 million.
We already
I already talked about that.
that.
Yeah. Leandro Paredes, 47 million euros to PSG. And then Benjamin Pavard, 35 million euros from Stuttgart to Bayern Munich. And then now it's starting to get to some smaller players here. See if I can try and find some really, really heavy rumors here. Let's see. Well, the young Canadian kid. I don't know if you've heard of it. Alphonso Davies from Montreal Impact, I believe. No, he played for Whitecaps.
Yes.
Played for the Whitecaps. He's at Bayern now. 16 years old at Bayern Munich.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
I don't know much about him, but I think that he could possibly, with age and time and experience, turn out to be one of the, an actual starter for the club. That's what I think. I think he'll actually become a starter.
Yeah. back to Neymar.
Oh yeah.
Real Madrid is preparing a 350 million euro offer for Neymar.
350 million euros. How crazy is that?
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. No one ever, like, going back to the days of Sir Alex Ferguson
Yeah.
with Ronaldo and all them, a transfer at that time, like 4 or 5 million at that time, was like 20, 30 million, like, nowadays.
Yeah.
It was crazy money, and now it's changed to the point where if you want to get a top player, you got to spend 300, 400 million. And that's stupid, in my opinion. I think that right there eliminates all other clubs that don't have that enough funds. And I think the big clubs are doing that so that way they can keep their top players, and these small clubs don't take them away. You know? It's like the small clubs develop these players through their academies, and then these big clubs come and take them away for 20, 30 mil.
Crazy.
But yet they'll pass big players like Neymar, Ronaldo around for 200, 300 mil.
Yeah.
Like, what's your opinion on that?
I mean, I think it's insane how much money Neymar was signed by PSG. When I saw that, what was it? Was it like 500 million?
What, when he came to PSG?
Yeah, what was it?
Oh, it was like
250?
Yeah, 250, 220, something like that. Yeah.
But Real Madrid, probably one of the wealthiest clubs in Europe, wants to sign him for 350. And I think that's kind of absurd. That's just ridiculous. They spent too much money on Bale.
Way too much money.
Way too much money. And they didn't want to spend it on Ronaldo. They didn't want it. They signed David Courtois instead.
And the thing is Real Madrid, they have a young player in Vinicius Jr.
Yep.
He's,
Stud.
16, 17, 18, something like that? He's
Pretty
really
young.
young.
I
Yeah,
know, he's really young.
I don't think I know for a fact he's not 20 yet.
No, he's not 20 yet.
He's not even 20 yet, and he's already in Champions League football, whatever. I think Real Madrid should save the money from buying Neymar and focus on developing this kid
Yes.
and making him the best of the best. I mean, if you look at players like Asensio and all them, that's exactly what Real Madrid did. They brought him in as a youth,
Yep.
developed him. Same thing with like Martin Odegaard and all them. Developed them, gave them a chance, and now look, even though
Yeah.
Martin Odegaard, obviously,
He's not.
the fame got to his head and he kind of
Yeah.
fell on his own
I
way.
wonder what happened to him.
What I know as of right now is he plays for the top team in Norway. I think he plays for one of the number one team in
Wow.
Norway, and he's still on the Norwegian national team.
Yeah.
He still plays consistently in there, and he's linked to Ajax in real life. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, yeah, he's linked to Ajax this summer, and we'll see. I mean, he's still only 19.
Young player.
He's still young. He still has developed. I mean, that's so crazy to think that at 15,
He got signed.
he got signed to Real Madrid, and now at 19, it feels like he's been in the league forever.
Yeah.
And he's still only 19.
So young.
He's still so young, and he still has so much time to develop and become a great soccer player. And I think that's the thing. That's the whole thing with media. Just media expects so much things out of these teenagers, and when they don't provide, it's kind of like they just kick them to the back burner. What's the next one?
Yep. Is there anything else you want to say?
I think I said everything that I want to say. So did you got anything else to say?
I think I said enough.
Alrighty then. So so I guess we'll just end it right here at about 55 minutes. So I thank you guys all for watching.
Yes, thank you.
This has been your boy Josh.
Yeah, I'm PJ.
And we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.
See ya.